Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
To Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Hello and thank you once again for downloading and listening to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network. My name is Clive and I am joined by Perfect 10 himself, Ricky. How are you this evening, Ricky?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, how are you? I'm doing well.
Bless you. How did you enjoy your birthday celebrations on the day of the Royal Rumble?
It was good. It was good. Although, because I kind of watched it throughout the day on Monday. I stayed off Twitter, so I didn't really get a gauge of everyone's reaction, etc. So, so I don't really know what anyone else has thought about it outside maybe one or two people.
So, shock horror, you formed your own opinion?
I always form my own opinion.
Well, we'll talk about the Royal Rumble itself in a short while, and we also will talk about the big news that's been happening over the last couple of nights in the land of WWE. Certain wrestlers leaving or not leaving, we will decide that closer to the time. But well, first off, we'll start with NXT Takeover in Phoenix, Arizona. What were your overall opinions of the takeover, Mr. Ricky?
Two great matches, I felt. Two pretty good matches and one kind of solid match. The 5-match Folio it works. It wasn't. I'm not going to put it like my top 5 or anything like that, takeovers. No. It wasn't a bad takeover, but it wasn't one of the best ones. But it was still a real enjoyable night of wrestling, I felt. They just know how to do tag matches. Johnny Gargano continues to produce on takeovers. Overall, it was a real good 2.5 hours of wrestling. I absolutely loved the way they ended the show.
Did you?
I thought it was great.
A whole year later, and things have changed entirely.
On the face of it at the moment.
Aye. I think it was a good takeover. As you say, I wouldn't put it in the top 5, but the way things were going in 2018, I mean, they just kept getting better, or they just maintained that constant high quality. So there is going to come a point where at some point a takeover doesn't have the same glitz and glamour, the same sort of like 70-star matches throughout the whole card. And I think this is one of those nights where it just happened like that. But you can't maintain excellence constantly. It's going to be too hard to do. And there were a couple of matches that maybe felt just a tad flat. Whether by design or not, I'm unsure. But the as you say, we'll go through the matches as itself, the card, and we'll just give wee talking points. And as we go through it, we will discuss the predictions that we did. And we've got some interesting scores already in the first day of the return of the Predictions League. So the first match that we had was the NXT Tag Team Championship match between Undisputed Era and War Raiders. Again, Undisputed Era, common denominator in these excellent tag team matches. It did feel very different with War Raiders compared to the sort of strong style stuff that they had going on with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, with Mustache Mountain, those guys. So it did feel different with the more sort of bruiser brawling style that War Raiders brought to the match. But I still think overall, possibly the match of the night for the card. Don't know.
I mean, I can understand if anyone feels that way. It wasn't for me, but it was probably, I think it was probably the second match of the night, I would say, for me.
It's a toss-up between that and the Ricochet Gargano match. It's just with this one, it was a fresh offence that Undisputed Era had to deal with, and Hansen, there was a certain point in the match where, see the finishing move that UE do, where Kyle O'Reilly does the sort of leg sweep and Roddy Strong does the high knee, and they went to do that to Hansen, but he cartwheeled out of it. I just thought that was fantastic, and it was one of those ones using your arsenal to your strength, and it was just a sort of gasp moment. That was excellent.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he cartwheel out of two separate moves?
He did a couple of cartwheels throughout the match, but just that one in particular was...
Oh yeah, it was excellent.
Quite the visual. And we both of us had Undisputed Era for that one, and I was surprised to see War Raiders win just straight away off the bat.
You know, as soon as I saw the War Raiders entrance, I immediately messaged into our other league, Predictions League we're part of, and I said I want to change my pick. And I kind of wasn't joking, I was being serious.
Right.
As soon as I saw that entrance, it was like, right, well, you felt that. A couple of things that you felt was, well, first of all, the entrance was unbelievable. Absolute fire. But it was like, you got the impression it was like, oh, Triple H, they're treating him like a big deal. It's like they're giving him this grand entrance, and it was like, you almost felt like they're not going to give them this grand entrance to kind of have them fall short.
True.
So as soon as I saw that, I kind of realised, I wouldn't say it wasn't obvious or anything like that, but I straight away I saw it and I was like, they're going to win, because you're not going to do that, I don't think, and not give them a win.
It's a good point. I never thought about it like that. I also marked out for it because I'm actually watching Vikings at the moment on Amazon, so seeing these guys do the Vikings entrance with probably a few future world champs underneath those helmets and masks in there.
Well, Sarah Logan was one of them.
Yes, I heard that she was one of them. So I'm guessing there will be a rematch at the WrestleMania weekend one.
Yeah.
As a sort of, right, this is it. So Undisputed Era, they'll have a couple more months with NXT and then possibly a call-up around April time. We'll see what happens there, but I think this is still, the rivalry's not finished here, and I wonder how they'll be able to elevate it from what we got, because doing a straight-up rematch, can they do a different match, or would it be a gimmick, a 2 out of 3 falls, or something different? A ladder? Maybe this will be the ladder match this year?
I don't think it'll be the ladder match, but I think, I'm not entirely sure, it could be the end of the feud at the WrestleMania Takeover.
Yeah, I still think it will be. It's just a case of, will it be a big deal?
And then you kind of wonder what they're going to then do with Undisputed Era.
Mm-hmm.
It will go on to WrestleMania, obviously. And I look forward to it. Can they top it? It will be difficult too. But as we say, NXT, they've shown, whether it's NXT, the one over in Florida, or the UK version, they just kind of know how to do great tag team matches.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Revival and DIY. Their Brooklyn match was excellent, and they somehow managed to top it at the Toronto takeover in November that year, so it can be done. Maybe they just go for the good old-fashioned NXT staple, 2 out of 3 falls for that one. Maybe it could be overdone if they do that, though. Mm-hmm. It's a gimmick that are starting, not just NXT, but WWE in general are relying on maybe a bit too heavily at the moment. But I think it will be Undisputed Era that continue the feud, because are there any other credible heel tag teams going on at the moment in NXT?
Certainly not to a level that you would feel, like you said, credible, or they would seem like a threat at the moment.
I mean, I can't even think of another heel tag team. The Mighty have done. Nick Miller's away home.
Not sure.
It just, I mean, I know they keep putting on great matches, but the tag team scene seems lacking. Maybe you get the legends, the grizzled young vets over. Put on a clinic.
I'm not sure where they would go from here, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Well, after WrestleMania.
Aye.
But like we say, WrestleMania's 10 weeks or so away. You know, there's plenty of time to build people up with this between now and then. That's
the thing with War Raiders. At least one of them being quite injured after War Games. Mm-hmm. There wasn't enough time to have a proper build, so maybe they can get a right good story going for this one coming up. So one rivalry that does seem to be over is Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno.
I won't say anything, the floor is yours.
Oh, Matt. Right. On the surface, I get the story that they were telling, where Cassius Ohno... I've enjoyed the story that they've told, where Cassius Ohno has been trying to stop Matt Riddle in his tracks, be the gatekeeper, and he's shut the gates over, basically, not allowing any more entry. I quite liked the parts where Cassius Ohno was standing on Matt Riddle's toes and grinding away. I liked that. It was basically taking the piss out of him, walking about in his bare feet. The comeback was ho-hum. I very much enjoyed that sleeper suplex. That was pretty impressive. I would like to see that as a finisher, or if not a finisher, the sort of signature move that leads up to the finish. But
just to cut you off, just so I can get your opinion on this as well. Do you not think the biggest thing to come out of that match was we found out that Cassius Ohno has a foot fetish?
That's right, because he had them in his mouth as well, didn't he? The toes.
Yep.
I've not got much.
Cassius Ohno. I'm not going to say it. Just continue. Sorry.
Go on.
Mm-mm.
Is it a joke? Are you trying to steal my
thunder?
No,
it's not a joke. It's quite something quite disgusting. Quite a horrible image, to be honest. But continue.
Oh, you've left the listeners hanging there.
Cassius Ohno deep throated Matt Riddle's toe.
I don't think his toes are that long. The bro toe. So, but see, I thought the finish was quite weak. I really did. Cassius Ohno is a behemoth of a man. He's chunky, obviously. He's 6'7", 6'6". I just felt as if these sort of elbows into the set, it's like, I don't know, it just felt a wee bit not definitive enough of a finish for me. And why?
What? Fargo, yeah.
What?
Anyway, you didn't like the finish?
I thought it was shite.
I thought the finish was excellent.
It was weak.
It was not weak. It was like classic MMA ground and pound.
Well, you know how I feel about MMA.
Maybe that's why you thought the finish was weak.
Does that happen a lot on MMA?
Really? Yeah.
I'm probably alone in this opinion then, but I mean, give me a good old fashioned powerbomb any day. But I mean, see if they did something like the sleeper suplex elevated off the top rope or something like that, or something. It just didn't do it for me, I'm afraid. I'm still no further forward with liking Matt Riddle. the sandals are the Nike Air Jerusalems are a terrible look. I've got no.
That is a terrible look.
That is.
So is suits. A suit with trainers. Suit. I know he doesn't do that, but I'm just giving you some fashion advice. Don't wear a pair of trainers with a suit. That is also not a good look.
Okay. Who does that in the WWE? Do you know?
Not entirely sure who doesn't. I don't think anyone does, but I've seen it quite often. Mm-hmm. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
I was hoping that this would be a match where, right, okay, I can start to warm to Matt Riddle, but it didn't happen. The ground and pound finisher gets a big fat L from me. Right, next match, unless you've got something else to add.
Well,
we both
you didn't like Ronda, but you've grown to like her.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know how we always tell other people to give it time, etc., and not to rush to an opinion? I think you give him till WrestleMania and see who he's feuding with at that point, and then make a decision.
Okay. I mean, he has been there for a good few months now. He's had enough matches.
With who, though?
I can't remember the guy's name.
Because a lot of when you bring in someone new, a lot of the early matches are kind of squash matches where you're just kind of building them up and trying to get a mystique and aura about them. So maybe just hold off before fully deciding that you don't like them.
Okay, right, I promise then. I'll wait until WrestleMania weekend and decide then. If he hits the ground and pound finisher, I'm cancelling the network.
For fuck's sake, no you're not.
We both went for Matt Riddle there. So we at least got a point so far in the night. Next match was am I right in saying it was the Ricochet Gargano match next?
Yep.
Another belter for Johnny Gargano to add to his resume, and Ricochet once again. Already, I mean, has he had a bad takeover match yet? Not at all.
Don't think so.
I really liked how, obviously, right, this was one of those ones where they were showing off their gymnastics and their fancy schmancy stuff, but see when it got real dirty, they were gritty, and it was almost a clumsiness to the moves they were doing, and that sold the aggression that they wanted to enact upon each other, and I quite liked that. It just seemed a bit messy and gritty, and I quite enjoyed it seemed to get personal quite quickly, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to continue talking now.
No.
It really was a great match. And you know, probably like the best part about it was the hesitation from Gargano after he exposed the concrete. Before kind of deciding, no, I'm going to do it. Because as you say, he still comes down and he's like kind of high-fiving little kids and etc. And he's still doing babyface things at times as well as heel. He's got some heel characteristics as well. Ricochet isn't just like a gymnastics freak. Like he's got so much more.
No, not
than
at all.
That. And I'll be honest. Like I'm not a fan of like doing a lot of quote unquote flippy things and all this. Like, give me like a Bret Hart type match. You know, I would rather watch Bret Hart than I would watch like people jumping about the ring all the entire match. But Ricochet isn't just that.
No.
A lot of power to his. He's got a power game to him as well. Great ring psychology.
Selling's fantastic.
Yeah. It really was an excellent match, and like I say, you kind of saw a little more character development from Gargano. You kind of saw him move even more towards the dark side.
Yes,
obviously. With I'll kind of finally ultimately deciding, no, I'm going to use exposed concrete to my advantage. And Yeah, it was a truly great match. It really was. Like he says, Gargano, that's like, what is this? Probably like the 5th or 6th takeover in a row that he's put on, like, quote unquote, like a 5-star type match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, he's just built for like the big moment. Overall, from start to finish, that match it really was truly excellent, and it kind of took you on a journey. But ultimately, like I say, it kind of concluded or came full circle, like I say, when Gargano decided to use the exposed concrete.
There was a bit. I was trying to find the text that I'd sent you on Sunday morning, where there was a lovely transition from a springboard. Ricochet was trying to do one of those springboard elbows, or probably a springboard stunner or something like that, but Gargano caught him and put him into the Gargano escape. And very shortly after that, the Ricochet did some crazy, it wasn't even a suplex that I think has a name, just launched him behind him right into the turnbuckle. And shortly after that, a spot that I always do enjoy is the suicide dive over the corner of the ring rather than just the normal side. Flew for yards there, so there were spots in it. It was quite spot heavy in times, but there was still a good story being told with the concrete being exposed. So it was another classic match there from Mr. Gargano and Mr. O'Shea, so hats off to them. We both predicted Johnny Gargano right for that one.
Yep.
Next match on the card was Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair. This was one of the ones you got wrong. You picked Miss Belair and I correctly guessed Shayna Baszler. What were your thoughts on this match?
Again, I really enjoyed it. It
was good. I liked this one too.
And obviously Bianca Belair, she made Shayna Baszler bleed the hard way. When she whipped her hair into her stomach.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Cut her. No, I thought it was excellent, absolutely terrific. And I was gutted. Like, I love Shayna Baszler, but I was gutted that Bianca Belair didn't win. And I know we hate when someone's booked to lose, but they want them to look strong. But I felt Bianca Belair coming out of that match didn't lose credibility at all.
If they do it during the match, I'm more than fine with that.
Or if they do like whatever some of the stuff they do post match. I'm just not a fan though of Shayna's two little sidekicks.
Oh, they're greener than grass. They've got no presence about them whatsoever.
And maybe that'll come in time, and maybe it's just because you look at someone like Shayna and how great she is, and just how quickly Ronda's picked stuff up, and it kind of shows it's not for everyone. Not everyone picks it up so quickly, or maybe they're just not as quick as the other two in picking things up, or maybe they're just not ready yet for it.
But like we said, we were just saying about Riddle there that we should be patient and just see how they get on.
Yeah, that's fine. But I would also like to see a little change up where Shayna just goes back a little bit to what she was about 6, 7, 8 months ago. Because she beat the holy hell out of Ember Moon in back-to-back matches. Granted, she lost the first one. And I know she had some help at Evolution against Kairi Sane. But I kind of hope if she does defend it again at WrestleMania, which she obviously will, if she's going to retain, I'd like her to retain it like in a typical Shayna dominant fashion.
I just think the two lackeys, they're not working for me at the moment. They're not intimidating in the slightest. They just don't seem to see with regards to Ronda gets a lot of slack from her promo skills and her confidence on the mic and her presence and just the sort of You got to know where the hard cam is, pal. There's just something just off about these two girls right now, and I'm not really up for it. See if Shayna had two henchwomen who looked believable, I'd be fine with it. I get that Shayna's getting a bit more desperate to hold on to the title and she's looking for help, but when the help that's being offered just comes across shit, then I'm not for it.
And I know you just mentioned Ronda, and we'll touch on it. We could touch on it later, and you're talking about her mic skills. Just want to say, like, her comeback to Becky, I thought was pretty excellent on Raw. Like,
Yes.
she spoke truth and facts. So,
I've actually,
and if you going forward, that's how you kind of want Ronda to come across. You want her to emphasise like that nastiness in the mean streak, and kind of just almost ask her just to be herself.
yes. I've actually got a wee couple of notes that I decided to take this week. We'll wait. We'll talk about
Yeah,
Ronda
sure.
later. Because many a ramification was had on Sunday night and Monday night as well, so we'll discuss that more at length later on.
Yep.
Next and last match was Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black. I really enjoyed this one, I have to say. It kind of felt understated compared to the epic stuff that Ciampa's been putting on last year, and Black, but it seemed like a struggle for either man to get ahead in the game, and then Ciampa was really started working on Black's knee, or was it his back? No, it was his knee, wasn't it? So it just seemed like one of those, again, a sort of gritty. It wasn't a pretty match, put it that way, and I quite enjoyed that for what it was. So not the best match from either men I've seen, but I was quite satisfied with how it all worked out.
Yeah, and for me, the kind of real talking point from it was I just assumed Aleister Black would then probably come up to Raw SmackDown. Whether he come up to the Royal Rumble, then went to Raw SmackDown, it maybe will eventually, but the stuff that happened post Takeover kind of makes me believe that's not going to happen.
Well, they've got this halftime heat thing coming up next week. Oh, this weekend now.
That's true. Worlds collide.
There's Worlds Collide, there's the halftime heat with Cole and DIY versus Dream, Black and Ricochet, is that right? Because of the brawl that was filmed after the takeover ended. So,
That's right.
is that the blow off?
Maybe
of a
that's
couple
what
of
it
those
is.
wrestlers? But where would you fit them in leading up to WrestleMania if they were to come up to the main roster? A toughie.
I mean, you could always put Aleister Black in that position that you're going to put Lars Sullivan in if he's not going back, or they wouldn't do it, but you could always. No, you wouldn't do Daniel Bryan. Maybe you could do AJ if he's not got a purpose.
Maybe AJ
Yeah.
can buy some Gillette razors or something and
Jesus. But yeah, going back to that match, it was still a good main event. I did enjoy it, but the big thing was the image at the end with Gargano coming out and both DIY members standing at the top of the ramp holding their titles in the air. I'm quite intrigued to see where they go from here, of what they're going to do with that.
got a two-man power trip coming up, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it doesn't need to be like a full-on reunion or anything like that.
Well,
I don't know, but do you know what? I think it's probably just going to lead to Gargano Ciampa at some point.
oh, please, no.
Because I think what the story could go again would be like Ciampa's maybe got a hold of Gargano again, and he sucked him over to the dark side before Johnny ultimately kind of sees the light and finally vanquishes Ciampa. I don't know. I'm not saying right now or at WrestleMania time because it still feels too soon.
Mm-hmm.
but maybe round about SummerSlam time, because that would have been a full year.
Are they not relying on these guys too much?
Yeah, but you would imagine one of them might end up moving up.
That's true.
So I kind of feel it'll be Ciampa that goes up, because like that old-fashioned way of thinking that you've got to kind of, the babyface has got to come out on top, and Ciampa finally gets his comeuppance and loses Goldie.
Mm-hmm. The Goldie. I keep forgetting about that. It's just guesswork right now. You've got the halftime heat. I imagine there will be tapings in Full Sail this very evening. They usually do tapings the Wednesday after, don't they?
Mm.
What was there was a couple of matches. It was the tag team of Kairi Sane and Io Shirai versus the two Shitehawks.
Was that just for a pre-show, or was that taped for just a normal episode of NXT?
That was taped for this week's NXT. What happened to, I don't know which one's which, what happened to, did one of them break their face during the match? Have you heard anything about that?
No, I just saw her wearing that ridiculous mask thing.
Uh-huh.
But I says I didn't really go on Twitter.
Too busy enjoying
building up to Takeover, and then pretty much all day Sunday I wasn't on Twitter at all.
Mm-hmm.
Too busy enjoying my birthday with the wife.
I'm very glad to hear that.
Well, I was out with the wife, that was it.
Right, so let's move on. From the predictions of that night, you had 3 points and I got 4. So I'm in the lead currently. And then the Royal Rumble comes along and things change drastically.
Is it indeed?
So will we go in order with this one as well?
Why not?
Right, first match. I can't even be bothered talking about the Authors of Pain or Author of Pain and a Revivaler versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. The stipulation apparently was, I don't care. Let's move on.
Wait. Was that on a pre-show?
Uh-huh.
I didn't fucking know that at all.
There's a dreadful stipulation that didn't even come to bear fruit anyway, so doesn't matter. Next up was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev for the US title. Rusev inadvertently bumps into his wife yet again, whose ankle was done in, which plays a very pivotal role in the pay-per-view later on. And Nakamura, the title changed hands. That was quite a shock. I can't imagine many people got that correct in any predictions across the land, because we certainly didn't get it right.
I'm still confused by it. And I know the title's now changed hands again. Maybe that was, I don't know. I don't really know what the thinking was behind it.
See, they've changed. What happened in SmackDown was an absolute mess. With
the US title?
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Shinsuke Nakamura loses to R-Truth in a matter of minutes. Then Rusev comes down and challenges, and he loses in a matter of seconds. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev, Nakamura's basically cost Rusev to bump into his wife on 2 occasions now. And then they're pals and they're a tag team. What was that all about? That's a shambles.
I don't know. You know what it was? It was like that scene from Step Brothers where they both became best friends. Did we just become best friends? Yup. Just like that. Despite hating one another, they became best friends in one random scene.
Aye. I've not seen that film, so I'll just have to.
You've never watched Step Brothers? Jesus, man. Will Ferrell? You like Will Ferrell?
Aye. I've just not seen all of his films.
Fuck. You should go watch it, it's funny.
It rings a bell. I think I have. There's a bit where one of them says they're trying to get to sleep at night and one of them says, I hate your guts, but in a loving way. Does that sound familiar?
I think so.
Right, we'll move on. Did you catch the Cruiserweight match at all?
Nope.
I'll fill you in then. This was apparently Hideo Itami's second last match for WWE. He ate the pin from Buddy Murphy after what was not the best, because 205 do very well in the multi-man format. we were discussing with at Cathy67 on Twitter, the good old organised chaos that WWE more often than not thrive in when it comes to their matches. And this was one of those ones that, because of the weight limit, more aerially inclined, it was a different kind of organised chaos, and these guys used the ropes to their advantage, the apron to their advantage, and they worked well with each other. That is bred from the familiar... right, I won't try and say that word again. The familiarity, see? How well they know each other. So I quite enjoyed, thinking back on that match, I really enjoyed it for what it was. Another good advert for 205. Okay, it was on the pre-show. Still a good match. If you want to see a good match, go out your way to see it. Buddy Murphy retains. At the time, I thought Itami would be the one to go on and challenge Buddy Murphy. And I'll let you in a wee sort of secret under the hood. When I was doing the 205 Live column this morning, typed it up. Rhea Daivari had attacked Itami at the end of their match that Itami lost against Tozawa. And I thought, alright, so are they going to turn Itami face in the lead up to a Murphy match at WrestleMania? And I said, this will be interesting to see what happens with Itami going forward. And I literally looked, once I'd posted it, and it said underneath it, Hideo Itami asks for release in the news site. And I thought, oh, here we go. Perfect timing.
Were you reading it out for the listeners or me?
You, but the listeners heard it.
I mean, I do read your 205 results.
Yeah?
I do read your 205 results.
Uh-huh.
I do read them.
Okay, well, thank you if you're telling the truth, but I was just...
Why would I lie about that?
I was just telling you what happened. I thought it was a funny wee story.
I would have requested that the site take that down, and then you would redo it.
The whole thing?
No, even at the bottom you could have put something like Itami has been released, ignore my last paragraph, or just delete the last paragraph.
Promptly deleted?
The entire thing.
What are your thoughts on the supposed... It's a work, by the way. The supposed ending of Itami's WWE career?
Suppose you just say it's right there. The supposed. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it, to be honest, because I couldn't care less about him.
He's had a lot of injuries.
Although what I will say is though, like, injuries really did derail him, because remember when he first signed to NXT, that was a pretty big ass deal.
Mm-hmm. And he had a really good series.
And a lot of people were like, Jesus, like, you know, so. Injuries didn't help his time at all, but do just try and think back and realise just how much buzz he came into NXT with.
Uh-huh.
But again, like, you know, I don't care.
Injuries obviously derailed any push he would have gotten. NXT as a culture had moved on considerably in his time away, so he was always playing catch up when he came back, and it just wasn't working for him. The heel turn, it was miles behind everyone else, and then he moved over to 205 Live, where they sort of kept going with the show me respect character. I did actually really like his work on 205 Live. He was a bit of a cold assassin, and really took it to his opponents, especially Hideo Itami. So personally, it will be sad to see him go. Whatever he wants to do if he's going back to Noah, unsure, but all the best for him. So we'll move on to the main card, which started with a bang. Asuka versus, what's her name? Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's title. Asuka retained.
I
Thought she would, but it was still a good match. What were your thoughts on the clean finish specifically?
That was the only thing that I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. And it turned out to be perfect.
It was a pretty brutal submission to try and get out of.
Yeah, and the reason why I say it's perfect is not a single person is talking about how Becky got beat in the middle of the ring, clean. No shenanigans, no nothing, because of what took place later on in the night.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of need to give them credit for that.
Yes.
Because if she didn't come into the Royal Rumble, a lot of people would have been up in arms saying, how does she lose clean when she had all this momentum?
Of course.
But now, like I said, that she did come into the Rumble and win it, not a single person is going to be talking about it. And Asuka can bring it up, and the commentators can bring it up, the commentary team can bring it up as well, to kind of put Asuka over even more. But ultimately, no one's going to care that. We're not going. Not so much they're not going to care. We're not going to care from like the Becky point of view, because they're like, oh, we don't care. We don't care that she lost this. She now won the Royal Rumble, and now she's going on to face Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania.
Uh-huh.
So it worked out perfectly the way they planned it to.
What did you think of the match itself?
Real good.
Yep.
Really good. I can't need to go back into the WhatsApp to see what you actually described it as, but I thought you described it pretty well.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
A scrappy belter or whatever you say. And it was like both women like kicking and clawing, trying to get to the top.
I'll check.
It was really, really good. It's just a real, like you said, a real scrappy affair. Quite hard hitting as well. I was, at the time, very surprised that Becky tapped. But it all made sense in the end.
I wasn't surprised because it was basically the equivalent of turning a figure 4 leg lock into a figure 8. That applied pressure, the elevated pressure, and it was quite similar to the Daniel, my favourite finisher that he doesn't do anymore, the cattle mutilation. It was similar to that, and I thought, you can't get out of that. You're stuck, Becky. You've got nothing you can do right now will save you. So you just need to tap. So I quite liked it. Like it was a clean finish that worked for me, unlike elbows to the cheek.
Well, elbows to the cheek will knock your ass out.
Right, okay.
It's a legitimate finish.
I called the opener a right scrappy belter.
Yes, so. But if you could have went another way, you could have just had Becky pass out and not actually tap. No. If you wanted to kind of protect her or make her look even more badass. But like I say, having her tap and then going on and winning the Royal Rumble, nobody's even thinking about Becky tapping out now.
See if
but it's still going forward. That's going to be a feather in Asuka's cap.
See if Becky had passed out, we would have been going on a bit more, even more Austin comparisons, and it would have just been ridiculous.
But it maybe, but at the same time, like you see it, like even in MMA, you see guys that just flat out refuse to tap.
No, I'm just meaning that people seem.
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean? So,
but like I says, the booking of that coupled with what took place at the Royal Rumble was pretty perfect for both women now.
Asuka's still strong. I mean, she's not the most popular woman at the moment, obviously, with things that are going on, but she's done well. She capitalised with the carry on at TLC. She beat the man clean. So it's interesting to see what they'll do with Asuka going forward. Yeah,
and that ending was just kind of all about Asuka and showing that she is like who we thought she was, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Becky obviously was never in a running to win it, obviously for what they'd done later on. So in a way, you did protect Becky from tapping out for what you'd done later on in the night. And like I said, I thought it was, once you factor in both of those things, it was pretty damn good. Very good thinking.
We both went for Asuka there and got that correct. The next match was the SmackDown Tag Team title match. The Bar versus the Miz Mahans. I can't remember what they called themselves. The match was fine. Again, there wasn't any glaring errors. Shane McMahon pulled off a pretty sweet shooting star press.
Jesus.
It was good. It was...
It was like, considering a guy of his age, and I don't think he's ever done that. And it was something that was just as soon as it happened, like, I text you straight away. And it's like, he's just hit a fucking shooting star press. Like,
I think
I
it's
don't
the
think he
first
was
one.
capable of that.
He's done it before, but he's missed. He did it against AJ and King Kurt
Ah, that's right.
in that street fight. See,
It was still pretty fucking awesome.
see, a wee aside, I'm reading Edge's autobiography just now, and they're talking about that King of the Ring night where Edge beat Kurt Angle because Shane interfered, leading up, but just before that street fight. Apparently, Kurt Angle had been concussed in the match against Christian in the semi-final match. So Kurt Angle was concussed in the first match, had a match with Edge, and then had a street fight with Shane. That is absolute madness.
Well, integrity and intensity.
And I dare say as well,
Oh, well. Thanks, Kurt.
thanks for your pill addiction, good guy.
Fuck's sake.
Well, no wonder he needed them.
Yeah, like you says, that was the one match I think Universal, a lot of us were just like, oh. But it was fine. It was a fine match. Like, it wasn't anything to get excited about, and it's not a kind of match I'll go back and watch again. But it certainly wasn't, this joke of a match. And like I said, ultimately, I think it's all just going to lead to Miz eventually turning on Shane.
It's just this whole thing with Shane desperate for his dad to, the Miz desperate for his dad to see him win the tag team titles. He's won the tag team titles before. Why is this made out to be some massive deal? It's just...
Or what if you flipped it, right, and you had Shane turn on Miz, and you made Miz to be this big monster babyface?
And then Shane goes to Miz's dad's house and batters him.
No, why not?
It's worked before. It's just... It's completely out of character for how the Miz has been the last year or so.
Angie. Yep.
Hanji indeed. We both predicted that one correct as well. Next match was possibly my favourite of the night. Becky Lynch versus... No. Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title match. Your prediction for over 2.5 for Sasha's botches did not come true, unless I missed something.
I didn't see a single one. This was my second favourite match of the night.
Okay. Oh God, aye. Excellent. Can't wait to hear what your first one is. This was one of those grappling clinics that I thoroughly enjoy. Ronda's got a really good intensity in the ring. See one of these days though, see these judo throws and the Piper's Pit move that she does? She's going to snap someone's neck one day.
Well, did she got... Who was it? Was it Alexa Bliss she done it to in a Raw? It looked really rough. Or was it Alicia Fox?
Alicia Fox it was.
I like Ronda. I thought it was a really good match.
It was fantastic.
Her kind of selling of her shoulder or arm was excellent. I thought Sasha was terrific as well.
That was a return to form for Sasha, definitely.
Yeah. This really was a real great technical grappling affair. So just some really wonderful stuff. I'm not entirely sure how I felt about the whole handshake after it, but I guess it was fine. I would have loved Sasha to maybe to smack Ronda at that moment.
I know, because that was,
I guess it's just...
That was one of those ones where they're trying to make Sasha look strong after the fact, and she was walking back up the ramp, nearly in tears, and then she comes back and flings her forward up in her face. I was like, what does that prove? Nothing.
No, I know.
You just get beat by Ronda Rousey. What's the 4 horsewoman thing didn't really work in your favour that night, Sasha?
No, I agree.
I haven't seen the Bayley match yet from Monday Night Raw.
It was also a good little match. It was a good match as well. And Bayley and Becky as Becky was approaching the ring, threw up the four fingers to each other as well. I completely lost what I was about to say.
Sorry, I jumped in there. We're talking about the technical brilliance of the match, and how, see, since you've forgotten still, see I was saying about Ronda's, it looks very impactful, but one of these days it could go wrong and it could injure someone. It's as if she doesn't know her own strength and her own speed, because she nails those Piper's Pits brutally.
Yeah, I agree. I've just completely been thrown. I can't even think what I was about to say now. I didn't even write any notes this week either. No, I'll leave it to you if you wanted.
Well, if we keep going through dissect the matches piece for piece, we could be here for quite a while tonight, especially with talking about the Dean Ambrose stuff later on. So we'll move on to the weakest match of the night for me, the SmackDown WWE title match between AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. This did not have the same energy that we witnessed at TLC by a long stretch. It was alright, it was hard hitting, got a bit bloody. AJ's nose or teeth were busted open. Maybe
I think that was from the bump from going over the top rope. Mm-hmm. I think that was quite early on, actually.
It was early on. I mean, it was all right. Just could it have been one of those ones that they'd just come off of? No, in fact, I've got the order wrong. It was the Women's Rumble next, but since we're talking about Styles and Bryan, we'll keep going about it. From what happened in the Women's Royal Rumble, they could have fallen flat, because it does happen where something big happens and the crowd are just shattered. But it was still a bit of a random match, and then Eric Rowan comes down, looking confused.
Just like the rest of us. Mm-hmm. No, so I liked how Daniel Bryan was a kind of attacking AJ's kind of like upper chest, shoulder area, etc. And it kind of played a part later on where AJ couldn't like jump up on the top rope and hit this phenomenal forearm, so he had to kind of improvise. And that improvisation kind of cost him a few seconds, and Daniel Bryan was able to, as AJ was coming down, was able to kick him again, take advantage. I thought that was really good. They worked it quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it was hard hitting, just like all previous three have been. It was probably, I don't want to say my least favourite, because that portrays it in a negative light. I would say it was number 4 on the list of the 4 matches. That's not to say it was a bad match. It still was a good match. With Eric Rowan coming down at the end, honestly, I was waiting for, in all seriousness, I don't know why, but I was waiting for Harper, and then for the lights to go out and for Bray to appear.
So did I. I thought at least
because I thought they were going to give us like a throwback to when Bryan was in the Wyatt family.
Mm-hmm. I thought at least Harper would come down,
which suggests that he's not going to come back anytime soon, or unless he's come back as a singles guy, or is he going to come back and be a part of this whole
the movement
faction, the movement? I have
to say though, that hemp belt is fantastic.
See, I didn't like it, right? I looked at it this morning and I said, that looks ugly. Mm-hmm. And that was meant to happen. Where we're not supposed to like it because he's a heel. But the more I look at it, I'm kind of starting to like it.
It's good. You've got to love it.
No, even like the colours of it, like it's got the kind of sky blue, turquoise blue in it. I thought that's really nice colours. So it's kind of in the space of about 12 hours. This actually grew on me.
When I first saw it, I thought it looked really bad, and then when you saw the closer design, it is nice, but I totally understand. It is supposed to be something. I mean, I saw some guy on Twitter put up, what do people think? In the comments, people were in tears saying, oh, they've just made the Universal Championship look better. It's like,
but you're not supposed to like it.
I know, and
then when you kind of dive into Daniel Bryan's character, it's like, why is he being portrayed as a heel when he's speaking facts and truths?
I know.
He's just want us to all live like a healthy lifestyle, and we're shitting on him.
Yep. He's preaching to a crowd full of people that live in excess, and they don't want to hear shit like that. Fickle, and it's worked. But I mean, people who don't like the belt, if you're not happy, then you have just been worked, my good people.
Because you're not supposed to like it.
And if anyone says that's not how it works, listen, you've been had. It's a work.
But yeah, overall, the match itself was fine, just not what the last two matches were that they had. And then Eric Rowan coming down was random as hell, but like he says, there could be a deep meaning behind it. And when Eric Rowan came down on SmackDown, didn't the O? Did you see the O on the Titantron?
Aye, the recycling sign. That was brilliant.
So yeah, it was confusing at the time. And now obviously we're going to have that match at Elimination Chamber.
6-way. Did you see Samoa Joe's promo?
Oh dear God.
See when he said to Jeff Hardy, and he said, pretend this is like an AA meeting and close your mouth and let the rest of the group speak. Did you see Randy Orton?
Randy Orton keeled over.
Aye, he keeled over with his head in his hands. Oh.
To be fair, Jeff Hardy was kind of smirking as well.
That was devastating. Absolutely devastating.
You know how we said last week Daniel Bryan is arguably the best promo on the roster? Mm-hmm. Samoa Joe can stand toe-to-toe with anyone.
That would be an interesting promo battle if they ever had one. But
I really want to see Joe with the title at some point.
I do too.
Out of everyone that was in that ring, as much as I love Mustafa Ali, I can wait another year for Mustafa Ali,
of course,
to get the title. But Joe, I need to see it.
I mean, we're going on about Ali getting title shots at Mania. We're realistic. He's
got one at Elimination Chamber.
That's true. I mean, but we are realistic. It's going to be a while. He's still being used prominently. Can't argue with that. And he's been painted in a good light. So things are still going well for Ali. But it's interesting. I don't really have a clue what's going to happen heading into WrestleMania with the SmackDown title. Interesting times ahead. Mm-hmm. Right, so the Women's Royal Rumble match. I have to say, with both of these, they weren't the best matches. And I've said before, they're not my favourite style of match anyway. But I did very much appreciate that they didn't go for the whole, let's bring in all the legends, let's reel them out onto the ramp. And half of them nearly breaking their neck doing moonsaults and stuff like that. So
I told you this last year that it would be a one-time thing. And if Evolution is a yearly pay-per-view, that was also going to be like a one-time thing as well, where the legends were kind of honoured.
And just see, but they didn't have to do that the first time because they've got plenty of people that they can use. They had more than enough. But
it's kind of like, we didn't give you this opportunity back then, and we appreciate everything you have done, so you've helped get the women this far, and they wouldn't be in this situation as it wasn't for some of yous back in the day, so we kind of want to show our appreciation what you done. And as at the time I said, as a one-time thing, I'm happy with that, I'm fine. Because as a Royal Rumble, I kind of always generally expect maybe 2 or maybe 3 at most, older people coming back just for that little buzz, that little pop. I kind of accepted that the same way we kind of accept that the WrestleMania we're going to have some sort of celebrity or part-time legendary kind of involvement. but just to follow on from what you says, it wasn't great, but it wasn't like really bad.
What I was just going to say was the inclusion of a lot of the NXT, the Mae Young Classic, the NU with Rhea Ripley doing not too bad at all. Fresh faces, people will remember them because a lot of people like rewatching Rumbles. So if they don't watch the likes of NXT UK, Rhea Ripley's got some presence about her, so there is that.
Yep.
An advert for the future, I would say, and that happened in the men's Rumble as well. We'll get on to that later. Obviously with what happened, Lana earlier on. Yeah. Oh, before that, Alicia Fox.
Oh, jeez. What was she on?
Has she been drug tested at all this week?
Lay off the weed. Or pass it over here as well.
That wasn't weed, that was some PCP madness going on there.
Pass it over.
And then she had a tantrum in the ring and she was trying to reach her crown and couldn't reach it.
I'm not going to lie, you see when she started rolling about now, doing her tantrum, I skipped 30 seconds.
Did you?
Like, I was cringing watching that.
Well, that wasn't her highlight. The dancing at the entranceway was just...
tremendous.
What was she thinking?
She was clearly on something.
It was like a dad dancing at a wedding. A white dad dancing at a wedding as well.
A white dad.
So Lana shoulder ankle injury, limps down, and then Becky comes down and says to Mr. Fit Finlay himself, "Please let me in." So she got in, won the Rumble. I wanted Charlotte to win. I'm not going to deny it, but it's still quite a good feel-good moment overall. You said earlier that you quite enjoyed how it worked out, where she lost earlier on in the night. She comes back, so it was double duty for Miss Lynch.
I wouldn't say not so much that I enjoyed it. It just made sense.
It did.
But I will say, when Finlay gave her the okay in her music kit, like, I did pop. I did. I don't hate Becky, but I'm not on the hype train either. I appreciate what she's done and how good she is in the ring, but out of the four horsewomen, she's never been my favourite. It's always gone Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, then Becky.
Mm-hmm.
So I did pop when she came in. I did. It was a pretty awesome moment, I must admit. Is it the floor's mine? So,
all right, okay.
She turns round and says to Charlotte, "You're not taking this from me." She never took anything from you in the first place. Anyone, look, man, I think as great as Becky's been, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, Vince is well and truly got his hands in this pie.
Careful.
Give Charlotte your fucking respect, and she deserves the respect, but she deserves praise, and she also deserves to be acknowledged for how over Becky is and everything she's done. Becky Lynch has beat the holy hell out of Charlotte pretty much every week since SummerSlam, bar maybe that week in that time in Australia. She has beat her up, and not only that, she's beat her clean.
She's destroyed her.
She has literally ripped her apart. Charlotte fucking Flair, the best female wrestler in the world, who is going to go down more legendary than her father. Charlotte Flair should have beaten a one-legged Becky Lynch, but Becky beat her on one good leg. Flip the roles. You imagine if Charlotte was hobbling about in the ring and she tossed Becky out and win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a massive Charlotte mark. I says the day after the SummerSlam, on the SummerSlam review, that if Charlotte wins every single match for the rest of her career, I would somehow manage to defend that. and it's somewhat true, just because I'm a huge Charlotte mark. Give her the recognition and playing a massive part in this for Becky as well, because she has put her over
constantly. She's been buried. She's buried her constantly,
without a doubt. And I know a lot of people are still saying, well, Charlotte gets all these opportunities, etc. Charlotte has been treated like a fucking jobber at times these last few months. That's quite strong, but I'm trying to get across. Charlotte has put her over big time. Yeah. And this notion that some people think Charlotte's going to be inserted into the Mania match, she might be. And we spoke about it earlier on WhatsApp, where you asked me would it bother me, and I wouldn't be overly fussed either way. Don't think for a second if Charlotte being in this match is going to bring the quality down. Not a fucking chance. She's going to raise the quality.
Oh, aye, she will. She will. I mean, look at the triple threat that we had with Asuka in TLC. Yeah. That was just an excellent match. There is that thing about having a triple threat at WrestleMania. It doesn't... There's something that's just off about it, so I can understand from that standpoint why it might not be the favoured choice. But I think Charlotte... If Charlotte's involved in that match, it would elevate the quality of the match. It would give her the credit, because without Charlotte, Becky wouldn't be where she is today, like you were saying there.
No, you take her. But I would say though, what I would say is, I think I would rather see just Becky versus Ronda.
I think I would, but I would not be fussed at all if Charlotte, because Charlotte's, well, Charlotte and Ronda have unfinished business with each other as well.
Yeah, I get that, and like I say, that's why I wouldn't complain if Charlotte goes into the match, because I know the match quality is going to go up another level. And you know me, I'm all about the actual quality of the wrestling matches, as opposed to like the build, etc.
Yeah,
I would take match quality over character work, etc. And to put Charlotte in that match will improve the match quality, but I would I'm more leaning to just Becky versus Ronda, if I'm honest. And Ronda beats her queen.
A squash match. They had an interesting promo battle on Monday night there. Right, Ronda's promo before the match with Bayley. Granted, she fumbled the ball a couple of times. I think she was fighting a losing battle, because that crowd was baying for blood at that point. Yep. I mean, it's one of those ones you can barely hear yourself think. There are tried and trusted professionals who can just walk past that. So Ronda's not professional in that regard when it comes to dealing with hostile crowds. Fair enough. Didn't work out well. But since the new regime is dissecting promo syllable by syllable, Becky's promo, she's got the old lingering effects from that concussion that she got, because she said there, what was it she said at the start of the promo with Ronda? When I knocked you down in this very ring, you didn't, I'm paraphrasing, you didn't retaliate, you didn't come back and fight me.
Yeah. Well, you knocked her down the backstage area.
Was that?
Was she referring to the night she appeared for Survivor Series?
And then
when the incident took place in the backstage,
and then hit her with the chair.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, she said that Ronda didn't retaliate, but I mean, we all saw what happened at the end of TLC, where Ronda came down and Becky and Charlotte were looking at Ronda as if they were deer caught in the headlights. Cost her the women's title. It's not as if she didn't retaliate. She had quite a significant impact on Becky in December. So, but see, the thing that annoys me is they're giving whoever's coming up with the things for Ronda to say, they should home in on a few things. I think they should start homing in on Becky's flaws, show up some of the cracks in her, and the strength that she says. I think she could say something, I don't know, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, that she's in between a rock and a hard place. She could bring up that if you think that tapping out to Asuka and then coming to me is intimidating, then it's not, because that kind of says to me that Becky's afraid of Asuka, so she's just trying to move on to someone else, or maybe not, or plus if she really thinks that Becky's a man, again, I'm bringing up these Austin comparisons. Do you think Austin would have asked one of the backstage bosses if he could enter the Rumble? Austin would have just stormed his way right down to the ring. Becky was basically pleading and begging to get into that match with Finlay. So she could play on the fact that Becky's just all talk and has a certain not nervousness, what's the word I'm looking for? She still knows her place, if that makes sense. So see if Ronda was given that sort of material, I think it would give her an edge that people can't deny because they are just simple facts. It would give her a bit of a foothold in what looks to be the case, a promo battle like we had with Cena and Reigns leading up to their match. And if they want to go meta, bring up things outside of the fourth wall, cool, but give Ronda some toys to play with at the same time. Did any of that make any sense whatsoever?
And the problem is, like, you're kind of throwing Ronda in at the deep end here. I know a lot of people are going, well, she's been here for about 10 months or so, but, well, Becky's been doing it for a long time. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of throwing Ronda out of the deep end. But I like earlier on, I thought Ronda's comeback was excellent. You know, she raised value. She actually raised valid points.
Mm-hmm. She had Becky physically on her back foot as well.
Mm-hmm. So it was a nice opening round. I'm not going to bury Becky, to be honest. Like I say, I did pop for her come down to Rumble, and I would say I would rather it was just Becky versus Ronda. Mm-hmm. It's going to be an interesting build to Mania, because when you think about it, Ronda's now going to have to be preoccupied anyway for the next couple of pay-per-views. She'll be defending it at some point. Uh-huh. So we might see one or two wee jabs, but we're not going to get like a full-blown build-up / feud at the moment, because we're still quite a bit out, and like I say, in the meantime, Ronda will probably defend the title a couple of times. Mm-hmm. You would assume. I just think going forward, if they want to make this in any way equal, then Ronda should start coming back with some truths, like she has. And a tweet that she sent out, I can't remember what it said, but the promo afterwards, when she'd wrestled a match, worked off her nerves and came across a lot better, a lot more menacing. I would prefer to see that side of Ronda Rousey than the I Have a Dream stuff that she was talking about. So it's one of those ones the fans have they just need to go back and watch some of her interviews in like I don't know what they would call it, like, you know how we get like HBO would do boxing documentaries in the build up to fight, and they're called 24/7. And UFC does the same, and like just go back and watch some of them, and you'll just see her like bad mouthing her opponents and stuff like that. And it's like, just get her to do stuff like that. I mean, you don't even need to have her out in front of a live audience. Even if you have her just like in the gym working out and she's just spitting saying shit, like, you don't need to continue to put her out there in front of a live audience for her to be savaged. Yeah, they're laying her up to be savaged. Like, just protect her a little bit, because by no means should Becky let up. No, so Becky can keep doing what she's doing, but Ronda needs to get some offence in as well, verbal offence. You need to kind of help her, I think, because we know she's not on the same level as Becky, mm-hmm. but at least try and even the playing field a little, and maybe try and just say to Ronda, like, just go out and just kind of be you and say what you kind of want to say. Uh-huh. And she'll come across like how she came across in a lot of her MMA interviews and during her time there. And maybe that's not what they're wanting then. Maybe that's why they're... I know, but it's one of those ones. We're going to have one of these situations where the fans have dictated what happens, and Ronda's going to start acting like the heel. I would just let her. I think she could come out with some fire promos. Mm-hmm. She was saying there, you know that I could kill you with one punch. That's fucking true. I know. Remember, who was it Ric Flair said that screamed in... Was it Paige? He screamed in her face, kill yourself, or something like that. Might have been. Paige or Natalia. It was a dreadful thing to say. I think about it, I don't know, it definitely was one of them. Horrendous, but... he's just a fucking scumbag anyway. He was probably drunk at the time. Fucking Ben Judd. Right, men's Royal Rumble... No, right, go on.
Tell us your best match of the night then, Ricky.
Match of the night was Finn Balor versus our Universal Champion Brock Lesnar.
Well, I'm moving to another universe then.
Embrace it.
No.
Embrace it the way I have.
You've went a full 360 like you said in your tweet, not a 180.
I've done a complete U-turn on Brock.
Oh my God almighty. You've lost me as a friend.
That's fine. Right, take care folks. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for the support over this last year or so. Coming to you next week, Ricky will have a new podcast partner.
Brock Lesnar.
I mean, I'll put a tweet out and I'll accept all kind of applications. You've
fallen for it, hook, line and sinker. The babyface has really got a chance of beating Brock Lesnar. Oh, and he's mounted some offense, and oh, it's so close to getting the pinfall, and oh wait, Brock wins again. Lol. See you in a few months' time. Bye bye. And it'll
outside of Roman and Brock, right? Roman and Goldberg. Hell, I wouldn't even throw Roman into this argument. Finn Balor is the one that's looked most likely to beat Brock.
Yeah. AJ did as well, and so did Daniel Bryan.
So did CM Punk. Not the way I felt about Finn Balor on Sunday.
That's just because you were.
You took the bait. What? It was not even. It wasn't even any kind of offense that Brock got in that won me over. Brock is, I think, the best seller. Arguably the best seller in the company. And it was that won me over, even though I always knew he was like this great seller. It was, I don't know how to pronounce it. But do you remember the condition he had at MMA in Colsey that I really don't want to butcher it?
Diverticulitis.
Yes. So, and that was legitimately a serious thing. That kind of ended his initial UFC run. And then when Finn throws him into the table and he goes into it, and all of a sudden I was like, it was just the way he was selling, and then he couldn't really pick him up for Germans, he couldn't get any offense in, and he kept selling it. It was just at that point I was like, man, I've been too busy trashing Brock, and I've never really truly appreciated, at times, some aspects of his wrestling, because the Brock Lesnar first time around, or hell, even up until the Roman Reigns WrestleMania match, was really good. It was only when Suplex City became a thing it kind of got boring. It was the selling aspect from Brock that really won me over. And like I say, he's always been a great seller, and I've always known that. But it was just like I said, it was just because Finn came so close, and I really wanted Finn to win. And I'm not saying I'm a Brock mark or anything, because as soon as Finn tapped, I was like, oh fuck.
What did you say just there? You're not a Brock mark, right? Let me see your WhatsApp message.
I know, right? But that's me just kind of exaggerating. But I'm not like this. I'm not like Brock's not Rusev or Charlotte or anyone like that, right? But I guess I finally, I wouldn't say got over my hatred or annoyance towards Brock, because I'm still not happy that he is Universal Champion. But I always put that down to Vince and not Brock. I've always said Brock Lesnar is I don't hate on Brock Lesnar like doing what he's doing in terms of coming and going as he pleases and getting all the money. It's all down to Vince. I don't really have an explanation for what won me over, but when Brock was selling the way he was selling, I was just like, I think I've been crapping on this guy, rightfully so at times, but never really truly appreciated like some of the other aspects of his wrestling, despite knowing it already. I think my hatred towards him didn't want me to give him any kind of credit as a wrestler. So there you have it.
I've got nothing to add.
No more fuck Brock, no more. It's done.
Okay, cool story, bro.
Seth
is going to lose at WrestleMania.
If Seth goes on to lose again, I'll be more pissed at Vince.
It's the combination of the two.
It's not. come on. If you walk into work tomorrow, like seriously, and you say to your boss, and your boss says you can either work all the shifts that you're doing now, right, for the exact same money, or you can come in and work 2 or 3 days a month, but you still make the same money. You're not coming in every single day. And if you say you are, you're lying to me.
Right. I'm not looking at it from a business aspect. I'm looking at it from a quality content aspect.
Right, but
see,
who's to say that this isn't what Vince and the other bookers, etc., are wanting his matches to look like?
Can you honestly say, do you think you'll be saying the same things as you are tonight if Seth Rollins loses at WrestleMania?
I'll give, if Brock puts in the kind of performance he put on Sunday, I'll still say good things, but my anger will be vented towards Vince, like it always has been.
Yep. Right, so
that part, and I'll say this, that part I've been consistent. I've always said fuck Brock, but I've always said you cannot hate on Brock. You've got to shift your anger towards Vince for allowing it.
We have determined on this podcast that Vince is the one that's the yes man in this relationship between him and Brock. I get that. So whenever I say Brock, I mean Brock and Vince. This is not going to change. Seth Rollins.
I mean, don't get me wrong, if Brock wins at WrestleMania, I can tell you right now, I won't be happy with it.
Mm-hmm. And it'll just be the same again and again.
But we'll see.
Right, let's go on.
Yep.
Men's Royal Rumble. Right, well, I was saying earlier, the youth, not so much youth, but the fresher faces in WWE got a chance to shine. I really liked the fact that there were lesser established talent that was able to shine instead of the dinosaurs of the past. Okay, we had Jeff Jarrett at the start, looking horrendous, by the way.
Oh, terrible.
Kurt Angle put some WD-40 on and managed to lock in a few Germans. Looked not bad.
At least he didn't last too long, though, either.
I know.
I think, was that it, though?
I think so, because like Pete Dunne did very well for himself. I really liked how he brought the 6'7" Drew McIntyre down to his knees, even down to the mat floor with the finger manipulation, the joint manipulation. It just shows the size differential doesn't matter when it comes to someone, especially like Pete Dunne, who can bring a giant to his knees. Ali, Mahatma Gandhi. Mustafa Ali left with a good couple of scalps. I bawled my eyes out in smart rage when Nia Jax punted him over the top rope.
Can I quickly interrupt? Did it not sound when Joe was saying his promo on SmackDown that he called Mustafa when he was outside the ring? Or as it sounded like he called him Mufasa?
Probably did. He was firing off on all cylinders.
Right, sorry, continue.
So, but apart from that, Ali did well. He lasted a long time, got a couple of scalps in Nakamura and Joe. The bit with Joe lying out in the commentary table, grasping at thin air as Ali was watching on, that was excellent. Aleister Black was memorable. Gargano, apart from his spear, pretty inconsequential, all said and done. And I did actually
Andrade.
Yes, I did have a flicker of excitement when I realised that Almas was still in the match quite late on. I thought,
I thought it was going to be him and Seth as the final two.
I just thought, wait a minute.
And then I remembered fucking Braun for a second.
Oh, God. Overall, I think the right man won.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be nothing come WrestleMania. I'm looking it up, but I think it was still a sensible outcome. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you agree with Seth Rollins being the right guy? Are you happy that it was Seth Rollins?
Yeah, happy with Seth. One or two things in Rumble annoyed me.
Okay.
I thought Ambrose was eliminated too early.
That's him being...
I have a theory about that. I thought Drew McIntyre got eliminated too early, and I thought even before that, though, Drew looked... They made Drew look like the real deal. I felt he was going a little too early, though. I was in agreement with you when Almas was there towards the end. It wasn't so much that he was going to win it. I was just excited for that 2-3 minute moment you're going to get with Rollins and Almas. Fucking Dolph Ziggler comes back. Nia Jax entering didn't bother me one single bit.
No, not so much. But the split second, I had a split second of just uncontrollable angst and
Which eliminated Mustafa Ali.
I was so angry.
And that, Kyle sent us that photo of someone saying she eliminated Ali, I'm cancelling my network, right? I don't know who that idiot was, right? But go back and just watch the moment Mustafa Ali squares up to Nia Jax. At first he was like, what the fuck, what are you doing here? And then it was a case of you can just see him, his facial expressions and his body was like, I can't hit a woman, I'm not hitting a woman. And then she just suddenly attacks him and throws him out. So Mustafa Ali, the good guy, didn't want to hit the woman. Mm-hmm. So she then took advantage of that and threw him out. I thought that was... in fact, it's not ideal, but I didn't see an issue with it because there was a story behind it. There was that moment from him where he was like, I'm not putting my hands on a woman. But you know what the best part about Nia Jax entering was? Her little face-off with Randy Orton.
Oh, Mr. MAGA himself.
See when he turned away a little bit and then tried to hit the RKO and she pushed him away? Mm-hmm. I literally felt like my arms went in the air and I was laughing so damn much at that moment in time. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, I just thought it was hilarious. And then when he did hit the RKO again, I was in a burst of laughter, a fit of laughter. Uh-huh. I don't know why I found it funny, but I thought that moment was hilarious for some random reason. Uh-huh. But yeah, right person win, but just one or two little issues I had with it. But overall...
I thought you were going to expand on that.
No, I would have said it was a Drew McIntyre and Ambrose thing. Mm-hmm. But overall, it was a good show. I mean, Seth was outside the ring for quite a bit.
This happens in Rumbles all the time, though.
I know, but we absolutely... Well, not we, but Roman... I hate always going back to Roman, but Roman was absolutely buried for that time where he was kind of in the Rumble, not really doing much, and then get taken away at the back and then came back out after missing about 15 minutes of it. Mm-hmm. But it kind of gave me... Seeing Rollins, it kind of gave me feels like that, but I guess I'm probably just picking at things to bitch about, really. But, no, like I said, overall, for the entire Royal Rumble pay-per-view, I felt was a pretty good show overall. Uh-huh. And the weekend in general was really, really good.
Fantastic. My crushing depression when Ali was eliminated didn't last long, though. I mean, if it was someone who wasn't an internet darling, nobody would have batted an eyelid. So it had to be someone. He's in a title match at one of the flagship pay-per-views. Well, not a flagship, not one of the big fours, but it's quite one of my favourite genres, the old chamber match. I really enjoy them. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in that. Hopefully he locks in a couple of brutal tornado DDTs from the top of one of the pods.
And the thing is, these ones, certainly for the brand that didn't have the winner of the Royal Rumble, they kind of hold a bit of significance, because remember, Bray won it in one of the pay-per-views between the Rumble and WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So, and then last year's, it was a good match as well.
The Nia Jax thing didn't bother me too much. She got her comeuppance, basically. Hashtag comeuppance. Mm-hmm. She got destroyed. That super kick laid in, excellent. The 619 and the RKO. So she got her moment in the spotlight. It worked out well. It's a moment you'll not forget in a long, long time. So she's got that for her as well. Heat magnet. She is a heat magnet. What people say.
Whether it was accidental heat or not, but still.
Heat's heat, brother.
You got the heat, and then you kind of just keep antagonising people by bringing it up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm not an Ajax fan or anything like that either, so...
Aye. I'm not advocating for her, but she's doing her job well. So that concludes the Saturday and Sunday portion of WWE, and some crazy stuff happened on Monday night, just after Raw. There was reports circulating...
Before we get into that, I sent a tweet out on the Sunday, which got a little bit of little traction.
Oh God, that's right.
Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful replied saying "lol," and I was like, okay. I kind of got excited about that. I tweeted saying Kenny Omega was due to make his debut in the Royal Rumble, and I would tweet out more information later on in the evening. Now, obviously, that never came to fruition.
But you've got some information on why that didn't happen, haven't you?
Should I divulge it at the moment on the podcast? I'm not entirely sure.
Well, you got a lot of people saying what happens next, so I think you owe it to them to... You don't have to give away your sources. But
no, I definitely... I can't give away the sources, but this is one of... I would call it a Ricky rumour, but it's not a rumour.
It's fact.
So here it goes. So he was due to get on the 11.99 plane out of Tokyo. So I don't want to give away my sources or anything like that. So he got on the plane, and for the reason why he never turned up at the Royal Rumble, folks, is because planes changed. It's not a Ricky rumour, it's fact, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-huh.
I'll divulge more information when I get it on Twitter.
Cool. You heard it here first, guys. Shocker, innit? Oh, I don't know where to go for that one. Right, so... right, Dean Ambrose has reportedly left the company. It was touted shortly after Raw, and it became official, quote-unquote official, from the WWE website later on Tuesday night, just before SmackDown, I believe, or a couple of hours before SmackDown. He is apparently unhappy with how he's been handled since he came back. He doesn't like doing hokey shit. His contract expires at the end of April, round about WrestleMania time, and it looks to be out the door.
Yep. It's a what, motherfuckers? Right,
go on.
So if it's not a work and it turns out to be true, I'll hold my hands up and say I was completely wrong. But as I said in my tweet, when this comes out and it shows that he didn't, quote unquote, he does in fact, quote unquote, return, and we've all been played, I will be coming after every fucker that laughed at me when I said it's a work. And I will be tweeting about it non-stop. And the reasons they give, right, that he's not been happy with his character, because seeing that little documentary or that 24,
the Chronicle
they done, it was kind of done in kind of kayfabe sense and not also, like he came across a guy that knew who he wanted his on-screen persona to be like, what he wanted it to be like. He had full control over his character at that moment in time, and he knew what he wanted to come across like. So with Dean, with the report saying that he's not happy with where his character was going and etc., and he doesn't like doing hokey shit, like, it makes sense, because he hasn't had great booking at times. He's been involved in a lot of shitty fucking angles.
He's been involved in a lot of good angles as well.
Yep. But, you know, I mentioned hokey shit, and I'm going to quickly go off for a second. It was quite funny. Joey Ryan tweeted out, I don't know if you saw it, tweeted out saying, so Dean Ambrose or John Mox or whatever he says doesn't like doing hokey shit. Wait until he has his first match with me on the Indies.
Aye, or he could go... Maybe we could go back to doing some of his drunk death matches at CCW.
The thing is, right, I think this will work, right? Because, first of all, we don't ever talk about rumours, like when it comes to wrestling wise. But when the WWE put it out, when was the last time they'd done this?
Yeah.
Have they ever?
I don't know. It's just, it could be because there's been an upsurge of these rumours about wrestlers wanting to leave. Not all of them have come true.
Yeah, and that's fine, but they never addressed the Mike and Maria Canales situation. The revival thing, they never mentioned that at all.
Mm-hmm. You've got wrestlers
you look at,
all up and down Twitter changing their Twitter names to their shoot names.
You know, so
there's a lot of trolling
that for
going
me,
on.
as soon as they came out and said it, I was like, no, this doesn't make sense to me at all. And I know some people are like, oh, well, they're going to bury him on the way out. Why would they bury him on the way out? The tweet they put out, to me, if you want to look at it, if you think if it's the truth, it's real. The tweet they put out suggests that, look, we want to end this on good terms because one day you might want to come back, so we kind of don't want to annoy you or make you look bad. So at least if we extend the olive branch at this moment in time, showing that, look, we care about you and one day you might want to come back. So I don't see him wanting to bury him, and people can say, oh, well, he lost clean to Seth Rollins. It's not like he fucking lost clean to Kurt Hawkins here.
Yep.
So...
And Seth Rollins had just won the Rumble.
Exactly. Look, put things into a little bit of perspective here.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I think it's a work because, like I said, they haven't done this before. A report comes out and they react to it less than 12, 18 hours later to it and put out a statement of their own. Mm-hmm. You said quite early on that you think this is going to lead to Dean Ambrose versus Triple H at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of getting that feeling as well. Like, don't get me wrong, it could easily be the truth. In about 3 months' time, we're going to look stupid.
No, we won't, because we've said if we're wrong, we'll hold our hands up. But well, we might look stupid, but I won't tell myself I look stupid because we've embraced the fact that this could be truth. It looks like it could be the truth with Itami as well. Last I heard, they hadn't actually released them yet as well.
And the thing is about the Ambrose thing, that why would you just let him go, right? Because you might want him to come back one day. This is a company that's showing that they don't really give a shit about doing things that are morally correct, right? Mm-hmm. So you look at the whole Saudi thing, and then you look at if you go further back a wee bit, you look at the whole CM Punk getting his papers on his wedding day, etc. So if you really wanted to stick it to Ambrose, right, why would you let him walk out in April knowing that Double or Nothing is just literally just around the corner? Yep. Why wouldn't you then, we still might, why don't you just release him a day or two before his contract runs out, and that way he has the 90-day non-compete, where it means he can't go to Double or Nothing. Mm-hmm. So it's to me it's a strange one. I personally think we're being worked. I said that immediately, and I felt it was even more enhanced, that feeling, the moment the WWE put that statement out.
Mm-hmm. It's a bizarre one. And why would they put this out knowing that they've already got hostile crowds all up and down the country now, left and right, up and down? If the fans have got this knowledge that Jonathan Good is leaving the company, they're going to shit all over his segments.
Yeah, and they might not even put him back on TV now. I don't think they will. Well, I say that, and then my theory come next Monday could be blown out of the water.
It could.
Unless they kind of do the whole CM Punk leaving storyline again, which they might do. That he kept saying time and time again that I'm leaving, I'm taking the title with me. Mm-hmm. And then he does actually leave, and then returns a couple of weeks later. So they could do that. It
reminds me of that. It reminds me of when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were apparently sent home from tour. Mm-hmm. When, funnily enough, the storyline that was going on at the time was them having war with the authority of the brand.
Yep.
So it's just, again, I'll say it one more time. If it's true, it's true. We both hold our hands up. but it's just a bizarre way to go about it. The PR around it's going to be strange. You're leading into a Mania programme. Dean and Triple H had a square off during Raw. Dean was about to start a promo talking about when he first... Is it something about saying when he first came to WWE? And then Nia Jax came down and attacked him?
No, I was saying that I want you to kind of keep quiet or give me attention or something. I'm trying to pour my heart out to you people.
And then it stopped, so...
It was kind of almost reminiscent of KO.
See, if it's one of those ones where they're doing this because of Jonathan Good actually wanting to leave, fine. They're making the best of the situation that they can. We'll see what happens, but like you said, if it is a work and it does turn out to be a work, I'm looking forward to your onslaught. Twitter
will be a glorious night that night.
You'll be wearing your Bobby Roode gown. Right, time's getting on a wee bit, isn't it?
We've rambled on quite a bit tonight.
It was a big weekend, and
It was a big weekend. Jandika, let's go to the quiz now.
Right. So this quiz, general knowledge, no theme, random questions here and there, 10 questions. Splice the music in now.
It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz.
Right, first question, Mr. Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
Who did Edge beat during the invasion angle to become, for the first time, the United States champion? Would you like me to repeat the question?
No. Edge, US champion.
Would you like a clue?
Yeah, why not?
He fought this person again at the upcoming WrestleMania.
Oh well. Was it Kurt?
It was not. Would you like another clue?
Yeah, why not?
Shampoo advert.
The fuck shampoo advert?
Oh, you don't remember this at all, do you?
No.
He fought this person because a Japanese company wanted to do a shampoo advert and they were both vying for the spot in the advert.
Yeah, I don't remember this advert at all.
Well, okay. The answer is Booker T. Question.
I don't remember that advert at all.
Well, they didn't actually have the advert, they just made it up.
No, I mean like that angle.
Question number 2. How many successful title defences did the Revival have in NXT Takeovers? A few doozers for you this week, mate.
3.
That is incorrect.
4.
Incorrect.
2.
Correct.
Fuck.
London, where they beat Enzo and Cass, and Brooklyn 2. A lot of the stuff happened. It's weird because they felt like such a dominant force for so long, but it was only twice they successfully defended it. That's quite the fact. Can you remember who the Revival beat to win the titles the first time?
Is this a question?
Yes. It was going to be a bonus question, but I ran out of ideas, so it's just an actual question.
I was going to say American Alpha, but I don't know if it is.
I'll help you with a bit of a clue. It was on TV.
So it wasn't Alpha.
They beat this people in one of the non-televised, when they were doing the NXT tours, in the Dusty tournament, the Dusty Tag Team Classic.
Oh, Gotch and the Vaudevillains?
Yes, correct. Well done. You got there, well done. Right, number 4, including now, how many times has R-Truth held the US title?
Jeez.
There's some gimmick infringement information for you after this.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you. I'll just tell you just now. When I was researching R-Truth for this question, he's had quite a few nicknames over the years.
2.
Correct. And he's wrestled in a few different companies. At one point in his career, he was called Pretty Ricky.
I'm going to hit him on Twitter right now, actually.
I say, excuse me, Pretty Ricky, what's up? Number 5, Mandy Rose, Chelsea Green, and Velveteen Dream all have what in common with regards to...
Were they not all on Tough Enough in the
Correct.
same season?
Yeah, well done. You got there very quickly. Number 6, King of the Ring. 2002 was the last King of the Ring for a while. And it was always a June pay-per-view. When it finished up, what replaced it the next year in 2003? What was the name of that pay-per-view?
Okay.
Would you like a clue?
No. Jeez, oh. I don't know at all.
The clue is there was a Hell in a Cell match in this pay-per-view.
Hell in a Cell?
No.
That could be anything. TLC, could be...
It was Triple H versus Kevin Nash.
Right. So, Bad Blood?
Correct answer. You're doing well tonight.
No, I'm not. I've done terrible.
How many titles did Scott Steiner win in his WWE/F career?
Just any kind of title or tag? Just titles in general?
Uh-huh.
Where did you get the Scott Steiner question from? Weird.
I've got no decent response for that one.
2, 3 or 4. 2.
Correct answer. He won 2 tag titles back in the F days with his brother Rick. Number 8. How many takeover matches did Hideo Itami have? I was surprised at the answer.
Takeover matches. This is just a complete stab in the dark. 7?
No. The answer is 4. So he tagged with Finn Balor at Revolution against the Ascension. He was in a championship tournament thing of some description against Tyler Breeze. Then he was injured for 50 years. We'll never find out who attacked him in the car park now. Then he fought...
The great thing about that, remember KO walked past him? Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, you bastard.
I know. He fought Bobby Roode for the title, and they fought Aleister Black at Brooklyn 2 or 3. Maybe 3. No, 2. I don't know. Number 9. Whose real name is Christopher Keith Irvin?
It's... Wait, sorry?
Your children are up late tonight.
I told you. Mum lets him have a nap. But why are you letting him have a nap during the day? What's wrong with you? It's, what's his face? Jericho.
Correct. The Ayatollah of alcoholism.
He was gassed on Sunday. And then promptly deleted those tweets.
Did they delete them?
Deleted them, apparently. I've not been on his... We follow him, I've not been on his Twitter.
Aye.
Apparently deleted them.
Fucking shitbag. Number 10.
Ask his fucking... He's calling out someone else for having a fat belly.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
He was clearly hammered, wasn't he?
Pot kettle black.
Pot belly, kettle black. Number 10. What was Enzo Amore's last pay-per-view appearance?
SummerSlam.
Incorrect. Oh, very funny.
Thanks.
I'm pointing at your face just now. That was good.
What month was it to get released? Oh, it was right before Raw 25, so it must have been January. What the fuck was that? December pay-per-view then, I'm assuming? Does pre-show count?
Yes.
Oh, it must have been a December pay-per-view. I don't know what that pay-per-view was. No idea.
Do you not even want to hazard a guess?
I can't even think what the December pay-per-view would be. TLC?
Correct. Let's move on.
Was it TLC?
Uh-huh. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 10.
That's actually not too bad, because I thought I was doing quite bad.
You got off to a bad start, but you rescued yourself pretty well. Well done, Pretty Ricky.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Pretty Ricky. Or my new gimmick is actually going to be the Punjabi Playboy.
Anything you want to say before we go?
No, it's a work. That's all, folks. It's a work.
Hashtag it's a work.
It's a work.
You never know, we could end up seeing John Moxley at an ICW show in the future.
Could fucking see John Moxley down the Meadow Centre, for all we know.
Right, okay. We are the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. I've already fucked up the plug, so I'm not going to continue. We've got loads of podcasts now. Just check out the links in the show notes that I've got for you, because I will do a disservice and forget half of them. The socialsuplex.com has all the podcasts, it has all the columns that we write, it has an email option where you can subscribe and get them sent straight to your email. We are at Ricky and Clive on Twitter and Facebook, and the Facebook page has the Wrestling Squares Circle Facebook group where we've got threads for pay-per-views, for Raws, for Smackdowns. Oh, I just broke my thumb, I think. I've got some fucking massive news for you, mate.
You don't want to plug that other thing? The 4,000 hours a month?
Oh, shit. Aye, powerslam.tv. Oh, I really hope they don't listen to this. Powerslam.tv is the streaming service to go to for all your independent wrestling needs. Over 4,000 hours are now in their library. You get a first free month if you put in the Social Suplex promo code. There's been talk in the group chat about getting an advert, a pre-recorded advert for the plugs of the network. The quicker that happens, the better, because I've never done it well. Back to the breaking news. Ultimate Warrior is back from the dead. And he's going to be teaming up with Daniel Bryan. They're going to be doing another two-man power trip, and they'll be called the Ultimate Eco Warriors.
You just said you weren't going to tell any jokes. And you said you were going, if we were going to have any jokes, it would just come natural. That wasn't natural, that was fucking terrible.
What can I say, mate? Planes changed.
That was fucking awesome. Oh. Right, well, take care, folks. Allah Hafiz. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for...
Speak to you next week.
Speak to you next week when there will be about 5 wrestlers left in the E. Right, night.
Night. Take care, folks.
It's a work.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.